Hello, I am Free Tillman, the only guy on the internet that doesn't know everything, and welcome to the anniversary show where I celebrated an album that was released 10, 20, or 30 years ago. On April 29th, 2026, I posted a short video celebrating the 10-year anniversary of The Impossible Kid by Aesop Rock. And in that short, I asked people if they wanted to see a longer breakdown of that album. Some people said yes, so here we are. I usually post these on the day of the anniversary, but I already did that with the short. But today happens to be Aesop Rock's 50th birthday. So happy birthday, Ace. Party over here. I will still be here because I don't want to have to move the camera. The Impossible Kids was released on April 29th, 2016. So if you are watching this in 2026, it is 10 years old. This is the 7th studio album by Aesop Rock. And to accompany the release of this album, Rob Shaw directed an abridged shot-for-shot remake of The Shining using small figurines, which was set to the album in its entirety. You can still watch it on YouTube right now. He also released videos for Rings, Blood Sandwich, Lazy Eye, Dorks, Kirby, Shrink, and Get Out the Car. More on that later. Before I go any further, if you are expecting me to break down every line on every song of this 15-track Aesop Rock album, that is not going to happen. That would take hours. This is just me having fun talking about an album that I've loved for the past 10 years. So the opening track, Mystery Fish, is about the alley that Ace used to live on in San Francisco, and the song is about making the best of a bad situation. It's summed up by the lines, "Don't question the mystery fish, just picture shrimp on a pillow of grits, close your eyes, lick your lips." Which sounds kind of funny, but he does acknowledge that this way of life can chip away at you. He ends the song with the lines, "I stepped over a body in the door. I pretended it to sleep, but it's probably more," which is heartbreaking. But when you live in a harsh urban environment, that's kind of the way of life. The song Rings is an uncharacteristically straightforward song about regret. If you're a fan, you probably know Ace was a visual artist, and over the years he drifted away from it. And the themes of this song sound like another uncharacteristically straightforward song from his 2001 album Labor Days called No Regrets. This song depicts the life of a girl named Lucy who was a visual artist that drew until the day she died. At the end of the song, Lucy states, "I've never had a dream in my life because a dream is what you want to do but still haven't pursued. I knew what I wanted and did it until I was done. So I've been the dream that I wanted to be since day one." And on the song Rings, Ace sounds like what would have happened if Lucy had stopped drawing. Dorks is definitely a diss track, but because Ace is Ace, we don't know exactly who he's talking about. I imagine it's a number of people, with one of those people being LP. There's a lot of talk about whether the two have problems with each other, seeing as they haven't worked together since 2007, and they don't seem to directly acknowledge each other's existence, even though they clearly come from the same scene. Ace left Def Jux in 2007, went on his longest hiatus ever, and his first single when he came back was Zero Dark 30, a meditation on the moral bankruptcy of the entertainment world, which is pretty generic. But go listen to Works Every Time from Cancer for Cure and watch What Happened Was Season 2 with Open Mike Eagle, and the line, "Are we supporting the artist or enabling an addict?" hits a little different. But while Zero Dark 30 is a little fuzzy on who he's talking about, Dorks feels a little more focused. "I used to hang around with rappers at the root of the scene. It meant a lot to see the fugitive community breathe. Maybe to sentimentalize is to be truly naive. I know some shit about your heroes that you wouldn't believe." On this song, he seems to be talking about specific people, and he is baffled at their level of delusion. Remember earlier when I said Ace made 7 videos for this album? Well, the first 4 start with someone finding a missing person poster with his face on it. The 4th video is for Dorks, and in that video, someone is coming to find and kill him. When the person finally does find Ace, he is completely unfazed, while a giant mythical creature, who I assume is Kirby, swallows the perpetrator whole. And I took this to mean that whoever he's talking about on Dorks is not a threat. All of the videos after this don't have anyone looking for him. The album starts out with Ace talking about his life in the urban environment of San Francisco and how he had to deal with that. Rabies is him dealing with the rural environment, which seems equally harsh in different ways, but like everything else in his life, he just deals with it. I didn't say this before, but this album was created after Ace sold everything that he owned and moved to his friend's barn. Blood Sandwich starts off with what I call the domestic suite of the album. Everything up to this point has been how the outside environment affects him, and the next few songs are from the inside out. I would like to say that as a guy that grew up with two brothers, Blood Sandwich hits close to home. We didn't get a lot of music from Camuteo, and because of that, it's hard to appreciate who he was, especially if you didn't know him personally. I viewed him as the Jerobi of the crew, the member that wasn't in the spotlight, but the one who held everything together. Vastair, Cage, LP, and Aesop Rock have all expressed in song what his life meant to them, and it's pretty clear that his death caused a rift between them. Get Out the Car is undoubtedly the centerpiece of this album. It's where the album title comes from, and it partially explains why he moved to the barn in the first place. This song and A Lot of Years are also the start of Ace creating shorter songs that really get into the essence of what he's trying to say, something that he would get into more later on Spirit World Field Guide and pretty much every album after that. Shrunk is about the push and pull of therapy. From filling out paperwork, being in the waiting room, to being therapized, it's all a struggle, but a struggle that's worth it because clearly he's signed up for more sessions. The domestic suite ends with Kirby, who has been a mascot and a spirit animal for Aesop Rock fans for the past 10 years. The songs at the back half of the album don't really have definitive themes. They're just more about dealing with insecurities and moving forward, even if things get a little weird. I was lucky enough to see him when he toured for this album, and I saw him perform Get Out the Car, and I don't think I've ever been more moved by a hip-hop performance. I didn't realize it at the time, but after this album, he stopped touring and giving interviews. He doesn't live in a barn anymore, and he still lives a pretty hermetic life, and I know this because we have lived in the same city for years and I've never seen him, and when I do meet someone who has seen him, they speak in hushed tones. I've been listening to Aesop Rock for a quarter of a century, and I will continue to listen until he decides to quit. So in the words of Chuck D, keep doing what you're doing, man. Keep rhyming through those walls. And join me in celebrating Impossible Kid 10 years later. This is Free Tillman, the only guy on the internet that doesn't know everything. See you next time.